Hey there folks, it's Jimmy Stewart here, hoping this is finding you all doing well. Today's video, it's Tuesday, so a few weeks ago I did a Tele Tuesday episode, and we're going to do it again for this week. It's Tele Tuesday Part 2. Now in that first video, if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, please check it out. It was Tele Tuesday, but I showed you 4 different Telecasters, but those were all thin line teles. I had 2 of the Firefly FFTHs, one in Creamsicle and one in Sunburst, and I showed you the differences between those, though they're the same guitar, but I showed some of the differences, just one with a maple fretboard and one with a rosewood fretboard, and one with a Wilkinson compensated bridge and the other with the standard 3 saddle stock bridge that came on the guitar. Then I also showed you an IYV, the natural, like sitting right there, that had the dual humbucker pickups in it. And then I showed you another Firefly, the FFPTH, again a thin line with dual P90s in it. And I kind of wanted to give you an idea of how the different sounds from all those different guitars were. But again, they were all thin lines. Today's video I'm going to show you a couple of solid body teles that I picked up fairly recently, and I'm talking about the LyxPro tele solid body in sort of a butterscotch, and the Indio from Monoprice retro, and this is a tele in blonde. Again, both of them standard teles with some differences. One is Palomino wood, the other one is basswood, and we'll weigh them both to see how they compare weight-wise, and we'll even do some pickup resistance tests to see how the pickups in both guitars may or may not vary. So let's have a look at both guitars. If you obviously listen to the intro in there, I used them both using the same backing track just to give you an idea of how they sound. The patch was identical, everything was identical. I didn't change the amp tones, I didn't change the patch tones, I didn't change the volume and tone controls on either guitar outside of switching between pickups to show you the differences in how they sound. So today let's take a look at the different guitars, what they actually sound like side by side, and the differences in how they were made. Let's take a look, folks. Now the Monoprice I picked up, this is the blonde tele. This is actually a little bit heavier, and I'll show you in the video the differences in weight. Not by a lot, but it is heavier, and this is a basswood body with a satin neck and a rosewood fretboard. This has got the individual saddles on it, and it is a string through, different than the LyxPro. So this one here was $99.99 regular price, and I did pick it up on sale for $79.99. The difference between this and the LyxPro is this actually does come with a nice gig bag as well, and I'll show you that quickly. So here's the gig bag it comes with, and again, it's a pretty nice gig bag. It's fairly well padded. It's not a cheap plastic bag. It does more than keep the dust off the guitar. I wouldn't be afraid to take this to a gig or put it in the back of my car. The Indio logo is embroidered here on the case, and it's got a decent pocket for your strings, straps, and all that kind of stuff. So this does come with the price of the guitar. And again, on regular prices on $99.99, this gig bag comes with it. A gig bag does not come with the LyxPro. Now here's the LyxPro guitar I picked up off of Amazon. Again, these were $99.99 when I picked them up, but I did check again today before doing this video, and they're currently at $109.99. So I don't know if you'll see them back at $99.99. You probably will, but in comparison to the Monoprice, at regular prices, they were the same. $99.99 for the LyxPro, $99.99 normal price on the Indio from Monoprice. Difference in this is the Palomino wood. It is a little bit lighter, by about a pound maybe, and again I'll show you on this video. We'll put them on the scale and actually take a look. And let's do it now. So about a pound difference, as you can see. This has got the standard ashtray bridge with your 2 strings per saddle bridge pieces here. It's got the 3 bridge pieces, and this is not a string through. This is a top load. Now there's a lot of discussion between the differences in a top load telly and a string through telly. Differences in sound, differences in twang and jangle, differences in how the strings will bend or not bend. And honestly, folks, I defy anyone to really tell me the difference. There's not much, if any at all. At least by the ear, I can't tell. And by playing, I don't find any difference between a top load telly or a string through telly as far as tone, sustain, playability, any of that. I just don't think there's much difference between through the body and a top load, if any. Just your preference. This does have a maple fretboard versus the rosewood fretboard that you find on the Monoprice Indio. This also has a heavy coating on the neck and on the fretboard. Your gloss coating versus a satin coating that is on the Indio. The tuning keys are pretty much identical. I haven't found much difference between the tuning keys on this and the tuning keys on the Indio. They're both decent tuners. They're not the best, obviously, but they do the job, and they've been holding tune. Here's something a little different. Now watch this on the 3-way switch here. They both have the 3-way switch, but just listen. I'm going to do it right through the camera. Now listen to the 3-way switch on the Monoprice. Much quieter. Is it any better? I don't know, but they're both working. You get a loud click when you click this one in, and you don't get that on the Monoprice. Just wanted to show you the differences in that. There's also a couple of differences in the strap pins. These have more of a mushroom top to them, and the ones on the LyxPro are more of a conical shape. Again, is it a big difference? Not really, but just wanted to show you that. They both have the maple necks. This again is a maple on maple, and the edges of the fretboard are slightly rolled, which I really like. I'm actually thinking at this point, I'm kind of preferring the neck on the LyxPro over the neck on the Monoprice, at least currently. This one feels better to me. I like it. They both came in very, very nice. They both came in with very nice fretting. No sharp edges. Again, this is a little bit heavier. No sharp edges. This has the satin neck on it, which I really like too. It's just that one for some reason just feels a little bit better in my hands than this one does. I'm not quite sure what it is. I haven't set up either one of these guitars yet. This is still the original strings on both of them. I haven't done any intonation. I haven't done any setup at all on these guitars. These are both just the way they were when I took them out of the box a couple of weeks ago on each one of these. I just haven't got around to doing them yet. So before I actually did another comparison review, I wanted to do them stock, just like they were out of the box. So if you were a beginner guitarist, either one of these models, the way they came in to me, would have been great, because again, nothing really you had to do outside of tune it up and let it acclimate and tune it up out of the box. Now, does that mean they're all going to come in that way? Well, no, because when you buy a guitar online, folks, let's face it, you're taking a bit of a chance, only because inexpensive guitars like this, the quality control is not going to be as consistent per guitar as they would be if you obviously went to a more expensive guitar or bought the guitar from a guitar shop and had the chance to play it or had it set up prior to playing it. These are going to be hit and miss. You know, they may come in with sharp fret edges. They may come in needing intonation and some tweaking, you know, some truss rod adjustments and bridge adjustments. They may not all come in the way mine came in, but mine came in very, very good. So that's, again, that's speaking good of both these brands. But what I'm trying to say is that doesn't guarantee that the one that you order will come the same way. But I'm finding most of the Monoprices, the classic series, they tend to have sharper edges on the frets. But again, this one came in perfectly, so I don't know. But I'm hearing from other people that the fret ends are one thing that you might want to address on the classic line of not only the classic retro Tele like this one, but the classic Cali Stratocaster model like I have over there in white. That one did come in with very, very sharp edges. Again, it wasn't hard to fix, about 15-20 minutes with a nice file and sandpaper, and I sanded them all down nicely, and it plays like butter now. But if you're a beginner and you don't know how to set up a guitar, take a look at some of the videos on YouTube, and I've got a couple of setup videos as well that you can check out. But it's not difficult, and you will get yourself hopefully a very, very nice guitar right out of the box. If it needs a little bit of work, then a little bit of work it should get. So let's take a couple of tone samples of both guitars side by side so you can get an idea of the differences in both guitars and the differences in those pickups that they come stock with. Let's have a listen. All right, so I'm just going to try to give you just the clean, as clean as I can. I'm using a clean patch from my Impero, using the effects send and return on my Monoprice Stage Right 15. Again, I'm going to try to make this as clean as I can so you can get the clean sound of these pickups and compare them side by side to each other on both guitars, okay? So I'm going to go into the middle here. Up to the neck. Again, volume and tone are all the way up on the guitar. Down to the bridge. Let's have a listen to the LyxPro. Okay, so here's the LyxPro again. Same exact patch, volume and tone all the way up. Haven't changed anything as far as the amp or as far as the patch goes. I'm in the middle. Going to go to the neck. So there's both guitars side by side with a nice clean patch. On the intro and on the outro of this video, I'll give you some samples of how the guitar sounds with a little bit of snot added to it, or a little gruffness as I call it, and give you an idea of how those guitars, how these both sound with some effects and a little bit of gruffness. So taking both those guitars, both $99.99 guitars or $100 guitars from LyxPro, available on Amazon, and from Monoprice, again available on Monoprice, but also available on Amazon. You can find them there somewhere. I think Monoprice get the better price though. Side-by-side comparisons, I like them both. Two things. If you want a top loader and you want something a little bit lighter, the LyxPro is probably the way to go. It is about a pound lighter than the Basswood Indio Classic, and much lighter than a Swamp Ash or an Ash Body Telecaster. It does have the gloss neck and gloss fingerboard and maple on maple. The tuners are nice. The only issue with that is that I think the switch, although it's not noisy, but it's noisy switching it. And the pickup, especially the bridge pickup, is a little microphonic, I think, on this particular guitar. But that's not an issue. I'm going to put a set of pickups in it, and I'm actually going to devote pickups to this guitar. Now, I have a set of Tex-Mex pickups that came out of my Fender American Tele, and I'm going to devote them to this guitar. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I really do like the neck, and I like the weight of this guitar. It's a little bit lighter, and I think it'll sound killer with the Tex-Mex pickups in it. And I'm also going to put the compensated Wilkerson brass saddles in this guitar as well. This one doesn't need anything really to speak of. Outside, I'm going to set it up and clean up the fretboard and oil it up and put a set of 9s on it. This is a very good player. I think for the money, again, if you were spending $100 and you wanted to know which one of these is probably the better value, I would probably say it is the Monoprice Indio Retro Classic, or Classic Retro they call it. Only because, again, it's the same price. I like the pickups in it a little bit better. It is a little bit heavier guitar. They come in different colors, and this one does too, but it does ship with a decent gig bag as well. So I think for the money, you're probably getting a little bit more value here. It is a string through. Again, not a big difference between string throughs and top loads as far as sound goes. This does have the 6 individual saddles on it, so it might be a little bit easier to intonate when you go to do that versus the ashtray bridge with the 3 saddles for the 6 strings. They can get a little complicated getting it intonated, but a lot of people actually prefer that as well. It's more of a Tele thing. So really depends on which way you want to go. You want to go classic Tele, you want a little bit more retro. They're both very well priced. If there's a sale on one and not the other, then there's your choice right there, because they're both very well done. So classic Teles on inexpensive models today on Tele Tuesday Part 2. The first part, like I said, if you haven't had a chance to see it, please check out the link. It's right up here. It's the first Tele Tuesday, and we did all the thin lines. Today's, we did a couple of the solid bodies. I think they're both very well done. I think they're both well worth the money, and really your choice on which way you want to go. So I'm going to wrap it up for today, folks. Thank you so much for stopping in. Thank you for subscribing. If you're still on the fence, please subscribe as we build the channel. I'd really appreciate it. It's Jimmy Stewart saying so long. Take care of yourselves. Please stay healthy, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon. Bye-bye for now, folks.